Savage Dragon 77 from July of 2000. This is the second issue in this new Savage World and the bold new direction. And this cover is the variant by Al Gordon and Jerry Ordway. These are the creators of Wildstar. The Erik Larsen cover is pretty cool, but I think I might prefer this one here. On the inside cover, none of the usual credits, which have moved over to page 1. So instead, we get a bunch of white space and a running joke about Josh Eckhorn, who is touched in the head. So last issue, we left off with Dragon staring at this massive crater where his home used to be. And so now this story titled Something Wild, we see that he's not alone. There's some tentacled creature down there sneaking up behind him. While he ponders his situation, we've got some insight thanks to the thought balloons and the captions up there, as well as credits down here with Erik Larsen, writer and artist, Chris Eliopoulos letters, Rude and Motown on the colors. So we got my favorite kind of page turn, the full page splash into the double page spread. Nobody does this better than Larsen, in my opinion. Now this ugly bastard is the crustacean. You won't have to remember that because this is his first and only appearance, but he does have a name that he announces there before him and Dragon go spilling ass over tea kettle down the cliffside of this crater. And the action's pretty clear, but you can see that Larsen is sticking to these rigid 6-panel layouts once the story starts to move along here. So once Dragon dispatches the crustacean and he crawls out of the crater, only to see Wildstar waiting for him as he climbs back up. So the last time we saw Wildstar was issue 29. That's the one where he had that vision of seeing a dragon man in a spacesuit in some strange land. So fans could be expecting this issue to fulfill that premonition. But it appears to be a different version of Wildstar with a new costume. So maybe this guy can help answer some of Dragon's questions. However, Wildstar only seems to confuse things. He says that he has seen the end of the world and he's traveled back in time, but apparently earlier than he had planned, than he had intended. And so then he just fucks off, attempting to go leave for some other mission. And Dragon demands answers, so he follows Wildstar and starts harassing him for info. And what he finds out is that there's a younger version of Wildstar in this planet here, and he's getting his ass kicked at this very moment. So the time traveler, Wildstar, is going back in time to help even the odds and prevent an ass whipping, which is kind of a bitch move by Wildstar, man. This guy whips your ass fair and square, and so the loser of the fight is so butthurt about it that he goes back in time to double team the guy. What a punk. So Dragon tries to prevent this, and they start to scrap. And Dragon's telling him, like, hey, don't try and alter history. I've learned my lesson doing that. But Wildstar fights him off and says that the world will end in 30 years. So that's, this is taking place in the year 2000. So that would be 2030 by my count. So I guess we'll find out if the world ends in 5 years. Anyway, Dragon lets Wildstar go beat up this other villain and help his younger self. And once the battle is through, we get some clues to what happened to this world. They say that they were attacked by like cosmic cops and Martians and gods. All these invaders have just decimated society, causing endless destruction and war. And none of the heroes that we're familiar with seem to exist in this reality. There's a pretty cool treehouse here, though. Looks like these survivors are living in nature, like the Ewoks or the Na'vi. You can pick your sci-fi reference. And Dragon keeps pumping these guys for info, but Wildstar is like, dude, I'm not your fucking biographer, man. I don't know all your friends and your history, so I can't tell you what happened to these people. I've never even heard of them. And then Dragon meets this chick in the white jumpsuit here, Skylark. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm from like 1,000 years in the future. We should talk. But before Dragon has a chance to hook up in the Savage World here, there's a massive explosion. The treehouse is blown up by these cosmic cops. Now, that would be a name familiar to readers of Freak Force. There was a 3-issue arc of Freak Force where the cosmic cops attacked Earth, but they were defeated by a freak force. But it seems that in this reality, that did not happen. So now these robotic assholes are running around, blowing shit up, and they are apparently programmed to seek and destroy the dragon. So our hero escapes, manages to ride down a 1,000-foot drop using the body of one of these creeps as a surfboard. He even says, "Silver Surfer, eat your heart out." And I think there was like an Incredible Hulk reference earlier, so I guess that means Marvel Comics exist here, and Dragon reads them. Anyway, he violently lands at the bottom of this, and he sees a fucking gigantic bounty poster. That thing's huge. Like, that's Dragon. That's the poster. Gigantic. And it has a $25 million reward on there, so money exists here as well. It may be a post-apocalyptic hellscape, but goddamn, cash is still king. Next, it says down here, mind slaves of the brainchild. So we'll have to wait to find out what that means next week. On to the letters page. Larson thanks Ordway and Gordon for letting him borrow their character and for the cover that they did. Both of the covers are included back here, so that's nice. You get the Larson cover and the Ordway and Gordon cover there. It's pretty cool to include that. Got a lot of reaction to issue 75, which is, a landmark, hugely consequential story, which fans seem to be blown away by, excited for the new direction. So it appears that this was a successful experiment by Larson to drum up some enthusiasm for his book, maybe bring in some new or lapsed readers. Anyway, after some Q&As, we got the covers, and then Dragonbert by Carl H. We got Megaton Man by Don Simpson. Desperate Times by Chris Eliopoulos, featuring this great-looking werewolf, this really well-done transformation for a silly comic strip. Reminds me of like Calvin and Hobbes, where a dinosaur or something would show up and it would have all this like detailed rendering. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this one. There's an ad for the new Vanguard series, Ethereal Warriors. I don't think I read that one, but I did read issue 78 next week. Adios.